Ladies and gentlemen, let me tell you something that changed my life, something I had to learn the hard way. Success is not about how smart you are, where you were born, or who your daddy is. Success is 80% mindset. That's right, 80%. The other 20%, that's skill, hard work, connections, luck, all that. But without the mindset, none of that matters. You can be the most talented person in the room, but if your mind is filled with doubt, fear, and negativity, you've already lost the race before you even laced up your shoes. Your belief system determines how far you go in life. It's not your education, it's not your job title, it's not even how much money you were born into. It's what you believe about yourself that either opens the door or slams it shut. Most people don't realize that the biggest limitations in their lives aren't external, they're internal. What you tell yourself when nobody's listening is what really shapes your future. If deep down you believe you're not worthy, that you're not smart enough, or that people like you never succeed, then you will find a way to prove that belief right, even when opportunity is standing right in front of you. The mind is powerful. It's like a thermostat that sets the tone for your entire life. If your belief is set low, you're never going to rise above that setting. But if you start adjusting your internal settings, changing what you believe you deserve, changing what you believe is possible, you'll begin to notice that your actions follow suit. People who believe in themselves walk differently, talk differently, and show up differently. They don't beg for permission. They don't ask the world if they're good enough. They move with certainty, even when they don't have all the answers, because their belief system acts as a compass. When I was starting out, I didn't have connections. I didn't have formal training. What I had was a belief that God didn't put me on this earth to be average. I believed that my life had purpose, even when I was sleeping in a car and getting rejected. That belief is what made me keep trying. That belief is what made me pick up the mic again after I bombed. And every time I took a step forward, that belief got stronger. You see, belief doesn't always start out big. Sometimes it's a whisper. Sometimes it's just a tiny voice saying, what if? But if you feed it, if you protect it, if you speak to it, it starts to grow. You have to talk to yourself like someone who deserves the best. You have to tell yourself things nobody else ever told you. That you're capable, that you're strong, that you're not here by accident. The world is going to throw doubt your way. It's going to try to convince you to settle. But your belief system is what tells you to stand back up and say, not me. I'm built for more. And that voice, that inner dialogue becomes your shield. It becomes your engine. Most of the battles you'll face in life are not out there. They're in your own mind. That's why it's not about what others think of you. It's about what you think of you. Because once your belief system shifts, everything around you starts to shift with it. You'll attract different people. You'll take different risks. You'll walk through doors you used to be afraid of. It all starts with what you believe. Mindset shapes how you respond to failure, not just success. Anyone can feel good when things are going right, when the plan is working and the applause is loud. But the real test of a person is how they carry themselves when life says no, when the doors close, when the phone doesn't ring, when the job you wanted goes to somebody else. In those moments, it's your mindset that will determine whether you rise or whether you retreat. You see, failure is part of the process. It's not the opposite of success. It's a part of it. But if your mindset is wired to take failure personally, to treat every setback as a sign that you're not good enough, then you'll never build the resilience that success demands. People think successful folks never fall. That's not true. The difference is when they fall, they don't stay down. They don't make the fall their identity. They learn from it. They use it. They flip it and come back stronger. That ability isn't about talent. It's mindset. I've failed more times than I can count. There were times when I thought I had made it only to find myself right back at square one. But what kept me going wasn't that I had all the answers. It was that I refused to let failure define me. I trained my mind to see setbacks as setups. I started looking at every no as a redirection, not a rejection. That took years to learn, and I had to repeat it to myself constantly. Mindset isn't something you set once and forget. It's a daily choice. It's choosing to believe that the loss is temporary. It's choosing to believe that your worth doesn't shrink just because the outcome wasn't what you wanted. If you look at every failure like it's permanent, you'll never keep moving. But if you can reframe it, if you can say to yourself, this is teaching me something, this is building something in me, then you take your power back. The people who win long term are the ones who train their minds to see growth in the pain. It's easy to feel motivated when everything is going smooth, but it's in the middle of the storm that mindset becomes your anchor. That's when you hear the doubt in your own head. That's when the fear creeps in. And that's when you have to talk to yourself the loudest, not with fake positivity, but with real strength. You remind yourself of your why. You remind yourself that the pain you're feeling is temporary, but the strength you gain from enduring it will last. You tell yourself that falling is part of flying. You can't soar if you're afraid of a crash. Mindset is what keeps you climbing even after you've hit rock bottom. It gives you the power to try again when everything in you says quit. It's what allows you to take failure, break it apart, and build a foundation with it. Most people stop trying not because they're not capable, but because their mindset convinces them that failure is just feedback. It's information, it's direction. And if you got the right mindset, you'll take that information and do something with it that pushes you closer to the life you were built to lead. Visualization and faith create a mental blueprint for your future. Before anything becomes real in your life, it has to exist in your mind. The problem is most people don't spend time visualizing a future that's bigger than their present. They're too busy reacting to what's in front of them instead of creating what's ahead of them. But the truth is, nothing great is ever built without first being seen in the mind. That's why athletes visualize winning before they compete. That's why architects draw blueprints before laying a single brick. If you want to live a life that's different, you got to be able to see it in your head before you ever touch it with your hands. And that's where faith comes in. Because sometimes the vision in your mind looks nothing like your reality. Sometimes you broke, but you're visualizing abundance. Sometimes you're heartbroken, but you're visualizing love. Sometimes you're lost, but you're visualizing clarity. And that takes faith, because faith is believing in what you can't see yet. When I started visualizing what I wanted, everything changed. I stopped focusing on what was missing and started focusing on what was coming. I started waking up every morning and seeing myself on stage, hearing people laugh, imagining success, even when I had no proof it was possible. That wasn't just daydreaming, that was me creating a map in my mind. And that map told my actions where to go. If you can see it and believe it, you can begin to live it. But you have to do the work of seeing it first. Most people only replay the past in their minds. They go over mistakes, failures, and disappointments. But successful people imagine their future more than they relive their past. They spend time every day closing their eyes and seeing something better, clearer, higher. And when you do that long enough, your brain starts to believe it. And when your brain believes something, your body follows. The problem is, life tries to beat the vision out of you. You tell people your dream and they laugh. You take a risk and it fails. You try again and nothing happens. But you can't stop seeing it. You can't stop believing that it's possible, because that vision isn't just wishful thinking. It's a preview of what's already inside you. You wouldn't even have the vision if you weren't capable of building it. So you hold on to it, you protect it, you feed it with affirmations, prayer, positive surroundings, you write it down, you speak it out loud, you surround yourself with people who lift your vision, not limit it. And you treat that mental picture like it's sacred, because it is. It's your future trying to talk to you. It's your potential trying to rise up. Visualization and faith together are like the engine and the fuel. One gives direction, the other gives power. When your mind is filled with the image of what you want, and your heart is filled with the belief that it's coming, you start moving differently. You show up like it's already done. You speak with confidence, act with purpose, and make decisions that match the life you're building in your mind. Talent without the right mindset leads to wasted potential. We all know someone who's gifted, someone who can sing like an angel, write like a poet, speak like a leader, or think like a genius, but they never seem to get anywhere. It's not because they don't have what it takes, it's because their mindset doesn't match their talent. Talent may open the door, but mindset is what keeps you in the room. A person with a little bit of talent and a strong mindset will go further than someone with loads of talent and a weak mindset. That's because talent can only take you as far as your thinking allows. If you believe small, you'll play small. If you doubt yourself, you'll hold back. If you're afraid of failing, you'll never take the risk your talent needs to grow. Your mindset is the soil, and your talent is the seed. If the soil is dry, toxic, and full of weeds, meaning doubt, fear, laziness, procrastination, then that seed will never reach its full potential, no matter how good it is. When I was coming up in comedy, I saw this all the time. I watched people who were funnier than me, quicker than me, sharper than me, and I thought they were going to be stars, but I outlasted them. You know why? Because they didn't have the mindset. They let the pressure eat them alive. They let one bad night ruin their confidence. They stopped putting in the work. They thought talent was enough. But talent doesn't prepare you for the hard days. Talent doesn't help you bounce back when life hits you in the mouth. That takes grit. That takes discipline. That takes a mindset that refuses to quit. The moment you start thinking that talent alone will carry you, you've already limited yourself. Because talent doesn't protect you from setbacks. Talent doesn't make you show up early or stay late. Mindset does. It's mindset that says, I may not be the best yet, but I'm willing to outwork everybody until I get there. I've met singers with voices that could make you cry, but they never leave their hometown. I've met entrepreneurs with million-dollar ideas, but they don't believe in themselves enough to pitch them. I've seen students with brilliance in their minds, but fear in their hearts, and so they settle. That's what wasted potential looks like. It's painful because you know the greatness is there, but the mindset isn't. And greatness without the right mindset is like a car with no engine. It looks good, but it ain't going nowhere. You got to get your mind right. If you want to turn your talent into something real, you've got to stop waiting for someone else to see your potential and start acting like it's already real. Your mindset has to be so strong that it works even when your feelings don't. You won't always feel confident. You won't always feel inspired. But if your mindset is solid, you'll show up anyway. You keep moving forward when everyone else sits down. That's how you honor your gift, by building the mental strength to carry it. So many people think they don't have what it takes, when really what they're missing is the belief that what they have is enough. Mindset is what tells you to keep pushing. Mindset is what helps you make the hard decisions. Mindset is what reminds you that your talent is a tool, but you are the craftsman. And without the right mindset, even the sharpest tool in the box won't get used. You could be sitting on gold, but if your mind is filled with fear, doubt, and insecurity, you'll never dig deep enough to find it. That's why mindset must be stronger than emotion and more consistent than circumstance. It has to lead the way so your talent can follow. Discipline and consistency are born from a strong mental attitude. People often look at successful individuals and assume they have superhuman willpower or some kind of secret advantage. What they usually don't see is the mindset that drives the day in, day out decisions those individuals make, even when motivation is gone. Motivation is a feeling, and feelings come and go. Discipline is a choice, and consistency is a habit. Both are rooted in mindset. Without the mental toughness to follow through when it's boring, painful, or inconvenient, most people give up. They start things and don't finish them. They set goals and then get distracted. They talk about what they want, but don't build the habits that will take them there. But the ones who keep showing up, who keep grinding, who keep doing the work, whether they feel like it or not, those are the people with a trained, focused mindset. Discipline starts in the mind long before it shows up in action. It's not just about waking up early or sticking to a routine. It's about mastering your thoughts so that they don't master you. It's about saying no to excuses, even when they sound reasonable. It's about doing the hard thing when the easy thing is right there begging for your attention. That takes mental strength. It takes a commitment to something bigger than comfort. People who succeed at the highest level don't have more time than anyone else. They just use their time better because their mindset is locked in. They've made a decision that their goals matter more than their feelings, and then they act on that decision over and over until it becomes who they are. I've had mornings where I didn't feel like showing up. I've had weeks where nothing was going right. I've had seasons where success felt far away and I wanted to quit. But mindset reminded me of my purpose. Mindset told me that discipline wasn't optional, it was necessary. You don't build a dream by doing it once in a while. You build it through consistency, through repetition, through grinding when no one is watching. That's what separates winners from wishers. Anyone can work hard for a day or get inspired for a weekend. But can you keep doing it when the applause stops? Can you keep going when the results don't show up right away? Can you show up with excellence when nobody's clapping for you? That's where mindset makes the difference. A strong mindset creates routines that protect your focus. It eliminates distractions and doesn't negotiate with laziness. It's not perfect, but it's resilient. It knows how to reset after a bad day and come back stronger the next. When you build that kind of mindset, discipline stops being a chore and starts becoming a lifestyle. You don't need someone to hold your hand or constantly motivate you because your mind is already driving you. You're no longer at the mercy of circumstances. You're operating from a place of purpose. You understand that consistency isn't about intensity. It's about showing up repeatedly, regardless of how you feel. That builds character. That builds habits. That builds results. Discipline without mindset is short-lived. You might do it for a week, but when life gets tough, you'll fall off. But when discipline flows from a strong mindset, it lasts. It holds you up when motivation is gone. It carries you through when nobody believes in you. It helps you delay gratification because you know what you're working for. And most importantly, it allows you to become the kind of person who doesn't just dream, but actually brings the dream to life through repeated, consistent action. That's not luck. That's not magic. That's mindset at work, turning discipline into destiny and routine into result. You can't win big in life with a negative, defeated mindset. The way you talk to yourself, the thoughts you entertain, and the beliefs you hold deep down inside form the foundation of every move you make. If that foundation is weak, filled with negativity, fear, and self-doubt, then no matter how big your dream is, it will collapse under the weight of your thinking. Your thinking will be what cannot undo. It will decimate your performance up. You can have all the talent, resources, and opportunities in the world, but if your mind constantly tells you that you're not good enough, that you always fail, that life never works out for you, then you'll sabotage yourself before you even begin. Negative thinking doesn't just slow you down, it paralyzes you. It convinces you to shrink, to settle, to stop. A defeated mindset sees risk and chooses comfort. It sees opportunity and looks away. It hears possibility and responds with doubt. That's why so many people live far below their potential, not because they weren't capable, but because they let negativity rob them of the courage to try. A strong mindset doesn't mean you never feel fear or doubt. It means you've trained yourself not to live in those emotions. It means when negativity shows up, you recognize it and choose a better thought. It means when something goes wrong, you don't spiral. You reframe it. You ask, what can I learn from this instead of why does this always happen to me? The difference between a winning mindset and a defeated one is the ability to redirect your thoughts before they control your outcome. Negative people don't even realize how much damage their thoughts are doing. They think they're being realistic when really they're just rehearsing failure in their minds over and over. And eventually what you rehearse, you live. The more you tell yourself that you're stuck, the more stuck you become. The more you believe that life won't change, the less you do to change it. I've met people with unbelievable potential who talk themselves out of their own future every single day. They let one rejection define them. They let one bad season convince them that it's always going to be that way. That's a defeated mindset. That's a mind that's been conditioned to expect less, to feel more, to stay small. But life doesn't reward that mindset. Life rewards the one who keeps believing, the one who keeps trying, the one who says, I know it's hard, but I'm not giving up. When your mindset shifts from defeat to determination, everything starts to change. You begin to look at problems differently. You stop running from challenges and start running toward growth. You stop making excuses and start taking ownership. That mental shift is where transformation begins. You can't let the voice of negativity get louder than the voice of purpose in your head. You have to guard your mind the same way you guard your home. Don't let just anything in. If a thought doesn't serve you, strengthen you, or support your growth, it has no place in your mind. You have to replace I can't with I'm learning. Replace it's too hard with this is stretching me. Replace I always fail with I'm not finished yet. That kind of thinking gives you power. It creates momentum. It builds resilience. When you believe you're worthy, you act like it. When you believe better is possible, you start moving in that direction. The mind controls the motion, and your thoughts set the ceiling for how high you can rise. A negative, defeated mindset is like walking through life with the brakes on. It holds you back from applying, from speaking out, from standing out. But once you release those brakes, once you flip the switch and decide to think higher, you'll start making decisions that match the level of the life you truly want. You'll start playing not to lose and start playing to win. You'll no longer wait for permission to grow because your mindset will already be telling you, go, you ready.